This time on Woody's Garage, we swap pickups on the Gibson Deluxe. Oh baby.
Look at that, would you? This is my 2004 Gibson Les Paul Deluxe that I've owned for, about 5 or 6 years. When I got it, it had P90 pickups in it, which are my favorite pickups. I have another Gibson that has P90s, and I actually like the sound of it better. So I put in these Gibson mini humbuckers. These actually are what are stock for the guitar. Now this one I've had for ages. I picked it up at a store closing or something like that, at some music store in Boston. And this is from the 70s. And I always realized that if I wanted to take this guitar and switch it back to mini humbuckers, I already had one. So what I went, when I decided to do this, I just went and bought another one. What I didn't realize, and I think the seller even said, like, it doesn't matter, these are interchangeable. Well, they're actually not. Because of the spacers in them, you can see that this is up high and it's supposed to be sunk in lower, but I'll show you that more later with the pickup that I bought to replace it. I would be fine actually with this if this pickup wasn't such a low output compared to this one. They're not even. So I decided to get rid of this one, move this one down to here, and take the new one that I bought and put it here where it belongs. And these are a little trickier than, say, like swapping out Strat pickups or regular humbuckers or something like that. They're mounted in these plastic rings, and these plastic rings were actually P90 pickups that were covers that were left over, I guess, and they used them to mount these pickups, which were actually Epiphone pickups at the time, that they had in some kind of overstock or something like that, that they cut them out and they put them in these so that they'd fit in the P90 space. I don't know. Maybe I'm not telling that story quite right, but anyway, I gotta get into this, and the first thing we need to do is take off the strings. Yeah, strings off. Take the tailpiece and the bridge off so they don't like fall off. Let's unscrew the pickups and see what we got. I've already taken off the back panel down here. You see the pots and stuff like that. They'll have to be unsoldered. I got the soldering iron heating up. Okay, the neck pickup is out. You can see the springs that are here. You can see that there are nuts here that are supposed to be soldered to the screw so that they won't move as this screws in. Now, because this one had the short spacers, you have a longer screw. Now the screw can only go in so far that it's drilled into the body through this plate. And I hope I'm explaining this okay. It's more to give maybe somebody else a view of what's inside of here and what to expect if they're going to do this, because I didn't find any videos on this except for Lawler's, which was very old. So you can see how long these screws are. Now here is the neck pickup that I just bought. You see that the screws are shorter, and you'll also see that the pickup barely sticks up out of the surround, where this one, it sticks up a lot more. Or does it? Gee, she actually kind of looked the same. Oh, actually, it's because I unscrewed it. Okay. They stick up actually about that high, which doesn't look like a lot, but it's significant when it's sinking down into the body. So I'm going to unsolder this one and take this one out, and I'm going to do the same with the treble pickup. So here's the old 70s pickup that I'm pulling out. Like I said, it was low output. Also had a short lead. Now both of my newer ones have long leads, and I'm kind of like wondering what I'm going to do with the excess here. And I hate to cut these down because they look kind of tricky to solder up, or maybe they're not, but I've never done it before. So I think we're going to start by putting the new neck one in, which is this one. You got to thread it down through the body, and that can be tricky too. And then we got to put the springs in. And you'll notice that this is so short. How are you going to get a spring on there and put it in and screw it in? That is tough. I think I'm going to take one of these springs that came with a pickup and cut it down to like, you know, almost like 1/4 of an inch or something like that, just so you have a little bit, because it sinks way into the body. But it may take a couple of fittings to see what's right, you know. Yeah, the most important thing here is just to remain patient and do everything slowly. And this is the best guitar I own. I don't want to screw it up. And also with your soldering iron, make sure everything's really clean. File off the tip. That's a wet sponge down there. Keep the tip really clean. Believe me, I never believed this was true, but it goes a long way. The heat is better. You have no impurities in the solder, etc. Okay, let me see if I can fit this top pickup in. I also wanted to mention that instead of soldering these nuts to the shaft, I put a drop of super glue on it, and I think that'll suffice. You'd make them, you'd put the nut and bolt on so that they're snug, so they can still turn. You know what I mean? So this will screw into the plate, but the nut won't move. And you can kind of see on the other pickup, the other newer pickup that will now be the bridge pickup, that there is evidence of solder, except for it didn't hold up in this case, so I might take the soldering iron and heat it up again. Okay, we've threaded the wire through without much fanfare. The channel is pretty large on this one. I think the older Les Pauls, it's not quite as forgiving as this. Yeah, that looks so much better. It has to, the pickup itself has to be deeper in the pickup ring in order for it to be right. Otherwise the ring starts sinking in there and it bottoms out, and you lose adjustment. It looks wanky and it's not right. I put this piece of tape on it so I could pull the pickup back out a little bit easier than if it wasn't there. So now I got to get the springs on here and somehow keep the springs on the screws while you turn it upside down. It's pretty crazy, but I think I can make it work. I might add, I don't know if these screws are right. I mean, they are so short compared to those, but you know, that may be a blessing. They actually kind of look factory. They don't look like they were cut off. But now we're going to cut these springs just kind of short of the end of this so that the screw can start into the bracket there. How we keep this on here, I don't know. I might wrap a little bit of tape under here so it's kind of like a friction fit. I'll show you in a sec. So I took a piece like about this big of masking tape. It's actually artist tape, but same thing. Cut it down to a thin size, and I wrapped it around the screw, and then I push a spring on there, and that'll kind of hold it. The spring's a little bit tall, but I mean, it's so short as it is. I want to see if I can get away with this. It seems to line up well, so we're going to try this. Got to put one on the other side, and we'll try it out. Yeah, that worked really well. They screwed right in. Nicely lined up. They got some spring to them, but not a lot. Now for this one. And what to do with this long length. So here is a plate, by the way. I took it out in case you wanted to see it. The beauty of these plates, I know the older plate was just a rod, didn't have this extra stuff on the top and bottom, but these are made so that you could actually mount a P90 too, which is really kind of nice, these two inner holes right here. But I'm going to see if I can just push the rest of the lead up into the cavity, and I removed it actually so that I could get the wire down in there. There wasn't a lot of room with the plate there, but and just leave the lead as is. Here is the old plate. I just dug it out. Show you, like, that's where it would attach. These are for P90s, and these are for the mini humbucker. So they even did it back then. But I'm going to keep this with the old pickup. Okay, I encountered a little problem with my bridge pickup, and that's that there is slack here. in the screw. And that's going to make, that slack is going to make the pickup sink in, which is not good. And this one is soldered, so I'm trying to take the soldering iron and loosen up the solder. The thing to do would be to loosen up the solder, screw it in tight, and let the solder dry, but that takes, you know, 3 or 4 hands to do. So I'm going to try to get the solder off of it and tighten it up and then resolder it. And I have something called a suction, it's like a solder suction gun. So I'm going to try to heat up the solder and suck it off. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, we'll see if we have any luck with these. This is just a bulb. It sucks. I've screwed up a couple of these a few times. And this one is a fancier one, which you load and you hit the trigger and it sucks it off. So, ooh baby. I got the blobs off of it that way. We'll see if it screws. In Lawler's video, he said you got to be really careful because the solder goes down there, it'll melt the crap out of this stuff. So, and leave a big ugly mark. So I'm going to see if I can tighten that up now, screw it in. Yeah, and it was at that time that I realized the other side was kind of screwed up too. So yeah, I got this in there. I'm kind of tempted to do the solder to do the right thing. I mean, I was kind of scared to do it before after Lawler said, oh, you'll screw it all up. You could, you know, if you melt it and everything. And, you know, you think you're probably going to melt it. He's an expert. Yeah, I'm going to try to drip some solder on these and see how it goes. Sorry I'm not getting this on video. I don't have a tripod over here and I'm a little anxious right now. Yeah, I think I got enough on there to hold it. It's good. So now I'm going to tape these guys back up to hold the springs and we will mount it. Okay, we're using like conical shaped springs this time, and we got the tape underneath there kind of, you know, giving it enough friction to hold it. Yeah, these grabbed right away. You can see like how long the screws are and how far it sits up. Because when it's all said and done, this baby will be almost, you know, like a 1/4 inch out of the body. So we take down a little on each side at a time. Don't wank one side all the way down. Like right now I'm hitting some, oh, probably the tape and everything. It's kind of screwing up that side. And this one, yeah, I'm having a little problem with this one. And I don't want to snap these screws. That was another thing Lawler said. So, I think I got a little too much tape on the springs and stuff, so I got to rethink this. Yeah, you can see how like they kind of backed up into the tape, then they don't want to go no more. So this is not the best idea. Maybe some tape that isn't so as compressed as this. I'm going to peel this stuff off and just put on kind of a floppy loop so that the spring just stays on there and it'll just kind of fall off as I'm putting it on, because this made it so hard to compress that it just stopped there, you know, and I needed to go in deeper. So my idea this time is just to make kind of like a little flag out of the tape. Put the spring over that, and that'll kind of, you know, won't give as much resistance. We've got it in. This screw is a little bit stiff. This one is really free. It's like, what I'm doing right now also, I don't advise. Always hold a screwdriver over a guitar with 2 hands. You know, one to guide, one to screw. You could easily slip off and gouge the body. But what I wanted to say is this screw's a little stiff for some reason. Maybe the threads got a little messed up. I don't know, but I think we got it in there enough. And it should work. We're on to like wiring now. Okay, this lead is for the bridge pickup, which goes on the lower set of pots right here. And this is the neck pickup. Somehow it seems like I don't have all this extra wire here for the bridge. It's in the body, I guess, so I'm going to be all right with that. And this is for the neck pickup. What I want to do is I want to put the hot lead into this center potentiometer slot here, where that is shared by this other wire that goes to the pickup switch. So I'm going to get it hot, push it through, bend it over, and heat it up again. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do that. The space is so small. My eyes are so bad. It's going to take some doing. I think that went okay. Now we got to do this one. Now the reason I'm not soldering onto the lug first is because then you're kind of stuck. You know, you got to bend the wire to go through the hole. You do it first so that you have the flexibility of pushing this through the hole, and then you tack the rest of it down. Okay, we're hitched up to my test amp over there. Old Univox with just a speaker. And see if we can get a view on this. So we're on the neck pickup. In the middle position. Hear that one, and hear that one. The lead position, hear that one, but not that one. So all is good. We'll put it back together and try it out. Also not a bad time to clean the areas you usually can't get to with a cloth. And I'm also going to apply a little bit of what is it? F1 oil for the fretboard. I had to put the old strings back on. I don't have any new ones for it. But let's see if this works. Oh. Okay, that works. That one seems to be still hotter than this one. I don't like that. Yeah, and somehow my action went really low. Maybe I moved the bridge around without knowing it, so I got to do a little setting up. Yeah, good balance between the two. Success.